Recently, someone asked a really interesting question in my Reddit community. Where do Canadian Bitcoiners move? And this sparked a lively discussion. By the way, if you're into crypto, make sure to join our All Crypto Canada Reddit community. It seems more and more Canadians are looking to leave the country and cash out somewhere different to start a new life. In fact, I spent a couple of years to find that perfect destination myself, somewhere with a lower cost of living, no housing crisis, good healthcare, crypto friendliness, and overall better opportunities. But every time I found myself coming back to Canada. Stick around until the end of the video and I'll tell you why. And if you're planning to leave Canada soon or you're already crypto nomad, please make sure to leave in the comments your experience. I'm sure many people are interested in such stories. Hey, my name is Oleg G. I've been trading in Canada since 2016, and let me share the most popular countries where Canadian Bitcoiners move to based on my research with crypto communities and why the specific destinations are so appealing. Before I start, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're from Canada and you're into crypto. And let's go. And number one country you'll see all over the place will be El Salvador. El Salvador is quite popular among Canadians, especially after making history in 2021 as the first country to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender. One standout place is the coastal town of El Zonte, better known as a Bitcoin beach. Here, residents have embraced Bitcoin for daily transaction, creating what's known as a circular Bitcoin economy. But here's the thing, while it all sounds revolutionary, only 10 to 15% of the population has actually adopted Bitcoin. For most locals, using Bitcoin as a payment method is still a new and time-consuming concept. In reality, it's primarily tourists pay with Bitcoin and not the locals. Also, while El Salvador offers breathtaking landscapes and a really unique crypto-forward experience, moving there comes with challenges. You need to understand it's still a developing country, meaning the infrastructure and healthcare system might not meet the standards you're used to in a first world country. Also, native language is Espanol, and not many local people speak English, and language barrier could be a really important factor in your decision. The country also has a history of high crime rates, but it's worth noting that the recent government efforts have improved security significantly. From what I've heard, visitors and expats feel safe in El Salvador nowadays. Second on the list is Portugal, and I seriously consider this destination as my top option. I even traveled there in 2021 to explore it as a potential home. At the time, Portugal had excellent conditions for obtaining a golden visa, which offered a clear path to permanent residency and made it relatively hassle-free to buy property with crypto. But things have changed, and stricter regulations now apply. I mean, Portugal is still attractive for crypto investors because of its favorable tax policies. As of 2023, if you hold crypto assets for more than a year, the gains are tax-free. However, short-term gains, like assets held for less than a year, are taxed at 28%. Also, when it comes to the golden visa, you now need to purchase either commercial or residential property, but only in approved regions. I found these regions less appealing for day-to-day living, which was a big downside for me. And also during my visit, I noticed several challenges that made me second-guess Portugal as a permanent option. Compared to Canada, the infrastructure felt underdeveloped, even though the coastline is stunning. Also, bureaucracy. The administrative process was painfully slow, and the level of service in many places was really slow, which got me annoyed, and I guess it's not my lifestyle. If you think Canada is slow, try Portugal. And for some reason, I also expected more people to speak English, but I faced frequent communication challenges. But I know not for everyone it is a downside. After all, you can also learn Portuguese. Also, just as I was deciding whether to move, new requirements for Golden Visa were introduced, making the process more restrictive. So at the end, all these things pointed me back in Canada. Next, and to my surprise, Argentina has become a popular destination for Canadian Bitcoiners, especially after the election of President Javier Milei, a vocal advocate for Bitcoin. He views it as a tool to return money to its original creator, the private sector. And seems like the country boasts a vibrant crypto community, and there are so many informal exchange hubs known as caves that facilitate Bitcoin to cash transactions. While these operate in a legal gray area, they currently function with minimal hassle. But in my opinion, Argentina comes with many downsides. I mean, Argentina grapples with high inflation and economic volatility, affecting daily life and financial planning. Also, I've read a lot about safety concerns. certain regions have elevated crime rates, and you need to do a proper research where to go and where not to. Finally, the future of crypto regulations in Argentina is unclear, which could pose risk to crypto holders. Next on the list are going to be United Arab Emirates. They established free zones for digital and virtual asset companies, offering benefits like 100% foreign ownership, no corporate or personal income tax, and 0% custom duties. Dubai in particular is emerging as a crypto hub. I mean, it all sounds nice, but let's talk about challenges of living there. First off, the climate can be a deal breaker for many, definitely for me. Summers are extremely hot, with temperatures often soaring above 40 degrees Celsius, and it's the kind of heat that makes outdoor activities pretty unbearable for several months of the year. Then there's the cultural adjustment. The United Arab Emirates has a unique blend of traditional and modern values, but adapting to local customs and laws might take some time getting used to, especially if you're moving from a Western country like Canada. And finally, while they offer tax-free living, it's not exactly cheap. Cities like Dubai or Abu Dhabi come with a very high cost of living. From housing to dining out, expenses can add up quickly. So something to keep in mind if you're planning to move there. Next on the list is Costa Rica, that offers a laid-back lifestyle, natural beauty, and a growing interest in cryptocurrency. Some expats have successfully used Bitcoin for transactions, as highlighted in this video that I recommend you to watch. I'll leave a link in the description. And I really love Costa Rica for their vacation options, but I'm not so sure about permanent move. Safety can be a concern depending on where you are. While the country is generally safe, some areas see higher crime rates, so you need to do your research before settling down. I used to live in the really safe area of Costa Rica, or at least how they claim it, and everyone was saying that it's all safe here, don't worry about it, but every single house had a huge fence, security, and many security dogs inside. Maybe it was just extra precaution from everybody, but that made me think. Infrastructure is another issue. Internet connectivity and utilities can be unreliable, especially if you're living outside the main cities. It's something that can get frustrating if you're working remotely or need dependable services. At least this is what I faced while I was in this country. Finally, the legal and regulatory side of crypto in Costa Rica is still a bit of a gray area. Next on the list are Germany and Switzerland. Both countries offer favorable tax conditions for crypto investors. In Germany, holding crypto for over a year exempts gains from taxes, while Switzerland even have their own crypto valley that provides supportive environment for crypto businesses. But moving to these countries could be a bureaucratic hell. The residency process, paperwork, and navigating tax obligations can be a headache, especially if you're not familiar with the system. If you're a native Canadian and you never tried to move to a different country permanently, you probably never experienced that. I did it with Canada and I don't want to do this again. Then there's the cost of living. Both countries are expensive, similar to Canada. And while English is widely spoken in some areas, you likely face a language barrier when dealing with local services, government offices, or even everyday interactions. Especially, I heard this a lot about Germany. Next is Malta, that has positioned itself as a blockchain-friendly nation. Long-term crypto gains are not taxed, while short-term gains are taxed based on income, ranging from 0% to 35%. Again, getting your residency sorted out might be a hassle, but for me the biggest concern is the size of the country. It's so tiny. While it's charming, it might feel limiting for some people who are used to the space and a variety of larger countries. And lastly, the climate is not as bad as in Dubai, but summers can be very hot and dry, and there is not much greenery to escape the heat. This is what I really love about Canada, by the way. Okay, and the next really surprising destination for me that I researched was island named Roatan, I hope I pronounced it right, which is an island located in Honduras. And it seems to gain attention for its crypto-friendly initiatives, and some areas accept Bitcoin for transactions, and there is a growing expat community. So I asked a few people about their experience living there, and seems like infrastructure is also a bad thing over there. While Roatan Island offers stunning beaches and a laid-back vibe, the healthcare and utilities can feel underdeveloped, and things like reliable internet, access to quality medical care, and even consistent electricity can be hit or miss. And safety is another concern. While Roatan is generally safer than mainland of Honduras, it's still important to stay informed about local risks and choose your neighborhood wisely. And then there is a lifestyle. Living on a small island can feel isolating for some, at least for me. To 2 or 3 weeks is okay, but no more. Entertainment, career opportunities outside of tourism and crypto, and access to goods and services are limited compared to urban centers. But I completely understand why such lifestyle work for some people. Finally, the regulatory framework for crypto in Honduras, it's still unknown. While Bitcoin is gaining traction in certain areas, there is a lot of uncertainty around how the government will handle crypto in the long term. So the next destination is Puerto Rico, and it offers significant tax incentives under Acts 20 and 22, including 0% capital gain tax for new residents. This means if you move before your Bitcoin appreciates, future gains can be tax-free. So yeah, if you want to take advantage of 0% capital gain tax, you have to move there before your Bitcoin appreciates significantly. If you wait until after a big price surge, you'll still owe taxes on the gains made before the move. Then there's lifestyle feed. As any country, Puerto Rico is not for everyone. Some people find that infrastructure and overall quality of life don't match their expectations, so it's important to visit first and see if it's the right fit for you. Lastly, I find natural disasters are a real risk. The island is prone to hurricanes, which can disrupt life in a big way. Okay, and the final place I included to this list are Cayman Islands, and they impose no tax on personal income or capital gains, making it really attractive for crypto investors. But it's a rich island and cost of living is extremely high. From housing to groceries to basic services, everything comes at a premium price. And again, let's not forget the island lifestyle. While some love the slower pace, others find it limiting, and entertainment, career opportunities outside crypto can feel constrained compared to larger countries. I mean, I continued this list, but these 10 countries that I met the most by speaking with people in the industry who moved from Canada. And as for me, no matter where I traveled, I always found myself wanting to come back in Canada in 3 or 4 weeks. Sure, the cost of living sucks, and the housing crisis doesn't make any things better. But honestly, every country I visited has similar issues. It's not just Canada. It's more of a post-COVID economic reality we are all facing. And I completely understand that developing countries can be very tempting with their lower cost of living and lower taxes, but it comes with trade-offs. For me, the worst infrastructure in these countries really affects my quality of life. And as someone who immigrated to Canada from developing country, I see a bigger picture in these places. Things like corruption, weak human rights protection, questionable police behavior, and so on. So let me give you an example. Imagine getting kicked out of your Airbnb all of a sudden, or traffic police forcing you to bribe them. These are things you just can't imagine happening in Canada, and this makes you realize how much we take for granted. At the end of the day, it's just my personal opinion. I honestly think that many Canadians don't appreciate what they have and the privileges of living in a country like Canada. But again, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if you're thinking of moving from Canada and where, or if you're already crypto nomad. Share your current experience where you live in the comments. I'm sure many people are interested to read different stories, what you love, what you don't, and how your life changed after moving from Canada. So if you love this video, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're from Canada and you're into crypto, and see you in the next videos.